no problem, because usually if you go in a bar, you have some drinks. Maybe not everybody is happy. That's, I think, the same circumstances we have here. And everybody who feels offended has it very easy, just push the button and exit. So that's why very easy here for us.
Okay, but before I start, so everyone is from IBS, or is there anyone who is not from IBS?
We have many not from IBS. We have only some colleagues from IBS. The rest of the world is now watching you.
Okay, so is your Korean colleague joined?
I was hoping he's joining. He got the invite, but
Daniel, I'm here.
Jung-Hong, you are there?
Yep.
There he is.
Hello.
I've never seen you with a tie. You come from the golf course?
I'm going tomorrow.
Ah, very good, very good. So we have 2 Koreans now. Jung-Hong is there.
So then I cannot lie. I cannot bullshitting, so it's bad.
Don't worry. I will play with you. Don't worry.
But then if my view is too subjective, feel free to jump in. Jung-Hoon.
Yep.
Okay. Yep. So how can I share my slides? Let me see. Okay, here. So I cannot really do the presentation with, can I do slideshow?
Exactly, you can do, yeah. Perfect.
So do you see my slides?
Yes,
yep.
You can.
Okay. So today I'm going to talk about Korea, and I'm telling you, this is very, very subjective. So don't be fooled by me. Just, it's just some fun stuff. Okay, before I start, I'd like to introduce myself. My name is Guina, and I'm from Korea. And I studied Korea Aerospace University, and I majored in Air and Space Law. I know it's ridiculous, but I studied. Yes, there is such a law exists. And I used to work for Jeju Air, almost 5 years, and mainly I was dealing with safety management system and flight operation planning. And as you can see, I like all kinds of board sports. So when I say I like it, I mean it. So I do snowboarding, I do longboarding, I do wakeboarding, I do wake surfing, and I do surfing. Pretty much all kinds of board sports.
Can you just show your board there in the corner, because I think that's always the constant in all the happy hours, that we always saw your board there in the background. Exactly.
Oh, can you see?
Yes. Awesome.
Okay.
That's a real longboard. Wow.
Besides Singapore, I've been 15 different countries, and I kind of lived, when I say lived, more than like 10 months. I lived in Canada for 3 years, and I worked in Beijing for almost 10 months, and I lived in Switzerland for 10 months.
And now, of course,
the U.S. flag is upside down.
Oh, sorry?
The U.S. flag is upside down. Sorry.
Oh, yeah, sorry. I did on purpose. So.
I think it reflects what's going on there.
Oh, no, don't start that, Matthew.
That's a statement. Yes.
It's too early.
I just want to make sure that you guys are actually focused.
But it's subjective.
So, okay, I guess.
And which country was for you the best? That's, of course, now the $1 million question.
Yeah, of course. If I have enough money, I'd love to retire in Switzerland. If I do not have enough money, I'd like to retire in Canada, specifically Vancouver.
Well, same here. Vancouver's an amazing city.
Vancouver's nice. Canada's nice.
Okay, so now it's enough about me. Let's talk about Korea. So Korea, where is it? Korea is between China and Japan. So China is famous for things are cheap, but maybe not very good quality. Japan is famous for a good quality, but things are very expensive. So I would say Korea, the things are not as expensive as Japan, but good quality still. A not as cheap as China, but still a better quality than China. So now we are talking about Korean food. These are kind of typical Korean food like bibimbap or Korean barbecue and some Korean stew. The couple of things are common. Most of common things are in Korean food is we mix and we share. So bibimbap, there are a lot of ingredients, but we mix it. And barbecue, we cook it with one fan, and then we share it. And stew as well. So we literally eat with one pot. I think it's very different from Western culture. So I would say we value community. And we value harmony and balance, which means it doesn't mean we do not respect individual, but we more value community. So we do things together. So for example, we don't say my mother, we say our mother. I think it's a bit different things from Western culture. Next, like I mentioned, we do share things, right? It's because we have Jung. I thought about how to explain this one to you guys because this one, there's no such a translation in English. What I can describe about Jung is kind of connection, affection, attachment. So, for example, my neighbor, between me and him, we have a Jung. So even though we don't love each other and we are not friends, if I have an extra mask, for example, I'm going to share with him. Because we have a Jung, I cannot just, teach him in a danger. Yes, we are famous for K-pop. We can sing and we can dance. I would say, from my experience, I went out with many different culture people. Most of the Koreans can sing better than other countries' people, and we can dance. Traditionally in Korea, we have a hung. So traditionally, when a long time ago, even when we were working in the farm, we were singing. And even when someone died, we sing. So I think it's within our DNA. So we are able to express our joy naturally. We could do this because our parents had a Han. I told you at the beginning of the presentation, I talked about our location, right? So we were literally between China and Japan. So we got attacked by China and Japan many times. I'm not talking about only the World War. Traditionally, we got attacked by China and Japan so many times. But the thing is, Korea, we never attacked them first. We are always got invaded by them. And this picture with a child, it's very famous picture in the world between Koreans. So we had a lot of sorrows and we had a lot of hurt during the period. But we could not do anything the way we want, because in Korea, Koreans, we are famous for be well-mannered. So because of that, even though we are angry, we are not able to express ourselves. So we are suppressed for a long time. So and then we call this thing, we call it Han. It's mixed with anger and regret and sad, because our parent generation has this kind of mixed feeling. They worked really hard not to go back to that situation. So because they worked really hard, my generation, I would say, we didn't need to worry about so many things. So we could express our joy even more. I think it's one of the reasons why the K-pop now is very famous. So many people want me to talk about the coronavirus. I didn't want to talk about it, but then Daniel specifically says, so I'm going to talk about it. So I think there are like 3 or 4 major points that how we dealt with the coronavirus situation. Sorry, this is Korean. So literally, this text says from the Korean government, it says every update the government has, those information were sent out to all Koreans. So because of this, we could adjust our movement. Let's say there was one outbreak or there was infected patients who went to the specific restaurant. Korean government has opened that information to everyone, so then we can avoid that area. By the way, if you have a question, you can always ask a question. And also, one of the key part was, I think, we could have a fast and easy test. At the beginning of the coronavirus outbreak, Korean government encouraged a pharmaceutical company to develop the test kit. So we had already a lot of enough test kit, and we even operate walk-in or drive-through test. So we minimized exposure of the virus, but still people were able to get tested.
How much is such a test? So if everybody can do it, if let's say I want to be tested, I'm in Korea, how much I have to pay to be tested?
If you have a symptom, you don't pay.
Oh.
Jung-un, I'm right.
Yeah, you're
Correct me if I'm
correct.
wrong.
But if you don't like have symptom and you just want to check yourself, I think it's like $120.
But if you have a symptom, you don't pay.
Yeah. If it turns out you have the symptom, then it's all covered by the government.
And how fast do I get the result?
Right now, go
6
ahead.
hours?
No, 2 hours, I think, right now.
Okay. All right. That I'm not sure. Gina will be right.
Thank you. You know I'm lying, but still, thank you. So this test, the capacity of the test, it lets Koreans to identify patients really fast. So we can minimize virus spread, I would say. And these things, I don't think you guys could understand. So there was I think, 3rd patient who didn't want to say where he was because of his personal life. He was having an affair, so he didn't want to say. But then there was no privacy protection in this situation. So Korean government literally dig up everything. So we find out where he spent the money with the credit card company, and then they track down all his cell phone GPS. So literally, if you have a patient, we can, let me a little bit over exaggerate. We can find out where he or she was by minute. So it helps, I think, prevent the secondary infection, because we identify where he or she was. So then we lock down the facilities really fast.
That's quite interesting, because here in Germany, an app and tracking is a big topic due to this privacy.
I understand. Yes.
Of Germans.
Yes.
How is this topic of privacy perceived in Korea? Is it no topic at all, or is it more also from the cultural aspect? It's somehow coming from the top, from the government, and nobody is standing up and is complaining because it would be against this community sense.
I would say in normal situation, we don't do this. But if it involves with a crime and this kind of national disaster emergency situation, yes, we will take necessary actions. I know it's different, but I think it's one of the very big key to for Korean government to control the whole situation. Lastly, but not the least, I have to say Korea, we do have a very good national insurance system, as well as good quality of healthcare system. So as you can see, health expenditure per person, Korea is like 3,192. By the way, USA is on the top. But most of the money, I would say it's covered by government because we do have a national health insurance. And when we are sick, we are not afraid of going to hospital. So I'm going to give you some of my personal information now. So I had a tumor, for example. Literally, I had a tumor. And I remember that my MRI, I paid around $70 because I was insured by government. And even $70, my private insurance covered. So whenever I see the doctor and when I had a radiation treatment, I literally spent maybe $10 or $15. So I think because we do have a good national health insurance, and then our quality of health care is very good. It's one of the key that people could get hospitalized very fast, and then they were very good taken care of, so they get recover really fast. It was one of the also a big key as well.
But how is now the situation for you? Because you're currently based in Singapore. So is your health insurance also paying for treatments in Singapore, or you always have to go back to Korea?
I mean, I am insured by Boeing, right? Here. So when I see the doctor here, not 100%, but I'd say pretty good coverage. But when I go back to Korea, and when I submit some documents that I come back to Korea, and I will have my insurance back, so I can see doctor without problem. And I do also have a good private insurance. So even though I get hurt in overseas, I get covered by my Korean insurance as well. So it is a good system, I'd say. Then lastly, Daniel wanted, so I have to say, Korea is very, very, very famous for beauty product. I'm sorry that I only have this thing only have a Korean. So literally what it says is when you enter the name of the product, beauty product, it analyzes all the ingredient. And Korean women, literally we have this kind of app in our smartphone. So before we buy something, we analyze the ingredient and then we know what we are getting it. And because of this, Korean beauty product manufacturers, they have to be very, very good. Because we are very thorough.
Something like this in Europe, actually. Wow.
It's very, very thorough. We are very, very thorough. So if you, like for example, some of the, like a big beauty company, it's overpriced, but the ingredients are not very good. But so we all know. So for example, the Korean beauty product, I say like 10% of some of the very big brand cosmetic, they actually have a better ingredient. And Koreans, I would say almost all girls, we know what is good for each one's skin. So we select the cosmetics by our needs and by our skin type. So I also do that. So in order to survive in Korean market, Korean beauty product manufacturers, the company, they have to be good.
I can confirm this. My wife is also using such an app, which is available here in Germany. And then I was just scanning either the barcode of the product I was using earlier, or you type in the and so on. And it's really astonishing what I was putting in my face before, and with all the bad ingredients and so on. And now I'm really very much with Korean cosmetics, which is all natural ingredients and so on. And last time when I was in Korea, I could find a shop of this brand. And yeah, I can really recommend everybody to use Korean cosmetics. It's worth the money. It was the commercial here in our happy hour.
Yeah. That's it. What I've prepared. I know it's very, very subject, but I hope that you guys didn't mind to listen.
Can you go back to your country list?
Yep. Sure.
Because now let's go to the, I think, second. Let's start with the mean questions. So with your Korean background, which of these countries was then, let's say, the most challenging for you with their local roots and behaviors? Was there one where it was really the most challenging, or is your Korean background enabling you to really live everywhere around the world because it's easy then to adapt to the local customs? Don't say Germany now. That's not allowed, of course.
No, Germans are, I'd say the most of the challenging country was China, because they always ask me if I'm a Korean, and I say yes, and then they wanted to shake my hands, and then they found out, well, once they found out that I cannot speak Chinese, sometimes taxi driver, they just to drop me off out of nowhere, and sometimes I had to walk like 1 hour. So it was very challenging. And I think Canada, it's not because I'm Korean, they are open to everyone. So I had a incredibly amazing memory in Vancouver, especially. So I loved it very much. England was surprisingly nice too. And Switzerland was a little bit like a Japanese. They are always smile, very polite, but I never can find out what they are thinking. So no, it's true. It was very, very difficult for me because they're always very polite. But I am very good at reading people, but it was very difficult for me to read Swiss people. But most of the people I loved was actually Italy. I remember in Italy, wherever I go, the moment I met them, they just suddenly become my friends. I know, like, in a restaurant, they keep pouring the wine to me, and of course I have to pay a huge amount of money when I was leaving the restaurant, but still, they make you feel like you're very well welcomed. So it was also nice. France, I say Paris, were not nice.
Why is that?
I'm sorry, is there a French?
It's their nature.
Snobbish or what?
Arrogance is a French word.
Maybe I should rephrase. I do have a good French friends. Parisians, they were a little bit difficult, I would say.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but my favorite country and people are Canada and Canadians, I would say.
Unfortunately, I think you were not in the France presentation from Christophe. I'm going to send you the French presentation, and then you're understanding better, because he explained it why the French are a little bit special, or not a little bit, they are special.
Okay, so then I need to understand why they are special.
Yes.
But I'm just wondering, Jung-hoon, do you agree with me, or no, I'm not talking about the French, but the overall how I look at Korea. Do you agree?
Yeah, but you look at it in a very special way, because if Daniel have asked me to come out with the presentation for Korea, I would not have thought about Jung-hoon or Han, because I will mostly would have talked about like electronics or some gamings or those kind of stuff. So I think you touched the bottom, like what we have emotionally inside. So it looks very good. Yeah, I think you did a good job.
Oh, now I know Daniel, why he is your colleague. Why?
And on that, please.
So if you are now stopping to share your screen, we see more of the people, and then we can maybe start the open discussion and debate. Maybe some people here in the call are not agreeing on what they have seen, and we have a very open discussion. So please let the audience know your thoughts. Have everybody been to Korea already?
Oh, really?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so then, what is your favorite things about Korea?
Yeah, Ashok.
Favorite what? Favorite what?
Ashok, it's a big honor that you join, and Korean Air Cargo is a big customer. So maybe also when you were there the very first time, do you still remember?
Yeah. And thank you, Gina, for that. I think as Anthony or John, who we call Anthony, said, I think it's a very, very interesting take about the country. And I listened to it with great interest, meaning things that I never knew about Korea. And now I think I understand Korea much better for the last 20 minutes than I've ever understood. So thank you for that.
Okay.
Yeah, I was saying I think as with most people, I think the thing that we love about Korea is food, and the Korean food that is there. So I've been there since I don't know, maybe 5-6 years ago, and then traveled several times. But Anthony has taken us only around Seoul, so all I know about Korea is around Seoul. But I think the food is what we enjoy the most, and I think I enjoy the business engagement with the customers there as well. So we deal with both of the airlines there, Asiana and Korean, and actually with most of with the Korean Air folks specifically, I share a personal relationship, and that makes which I don't find. We do cargo for almost 30 airlines, and many of them very large ones as well. But not with everybody you share very personal relationships. So, but I think with Korean and despite us and Korean being very different in size as companies, the Korean Air management, for example, treats us with equal amount of respect. So, these are things that for me makes that country very special.
Wow.
Anthony, you would agree?
Yeah, of course, because sometimes I envy you when the vice CEO of Korean Air always says, "Hey, what's up, buddy?" And you guys always hang out together. And all of a sudden, I just became a messenger boy in that room. And then when you guys go back to India, then I'm the only one left and do the talking. But Ashok is true. What he said is legit, because all the management, EVPs, SVPs, they really like Ashok, and Ashok like to have some personal stuff, I think. And I don't know what's the magic, but he does do that stuff.
I think it's more to do with them, because I deal with a lot of. I think the management there, for example, gives everybody equal respect. So which makes that company also very special for us. The same I find that generally in Korea, and I think it was for me a revelation how people are there. So I've enjoyed being there. And Daniel, thank you for the invite. I think I missed a lot more, because this is my first time in Daniel's virtual house, happy house. This was very good.
Yeah, by the way, just confirm, are you also Daniel's colleague?
Yes.
Ashok is one of our senior leadership team. So I thought for Korea, I'm inviting one of the most important colleagues, because first of all, Korean Air is his customer, but Ashok is also one of the long-lasting employees of IBS. So I thought I'm only inviting the best in class for your presentation. You have the best Korean colleague from IBS, you have the best cargo representative, and then, of course, all our great other attendees from Thailand and India and Philippines. Sorry,
Daniel, but still I feel lonely.
Yeah.
That's
But
why I'm
my,
here.
my
I
big
think
hope
it's
was
interesting.
my big hope was that you
Yeah.
are finally bringing a pilot to the session. So again, Gina, I'm missing a pilot.
No, I never mentioned the pilot.
Daniel,
Why
like an
are we going to that direction? Sorry.
Why did you have to mention the P word?
No, we are not going to talk about pilots.
There was
I'm
also not one single
your
pilot
presentation.
appearing in your presentation. I was also amazed.
Yeah, I thought so too.
Okay.
And Gina, from
So
what you were saying, I think a great. I was thinking I should change my title to Daniel's colleague because that seems to be the most recognizable title that one can.
No,
think that
I
was great.
mean it in a fun way. So
because
Matthew and Jeremy are not from IBS, I assume.
No,
Right?
I'm from Philippine Airlines. I'm from the Philippines. I got invited by Brian and Daniel. Thanks for accepting. For sending the invite. Yeah, I've been in the airline industry for more than a decade, probably about 15 years now.
Oh, okay.
No, I think, Brian, thank you very much. I think what you did is exactly what is somehow our dream, our aspiration, that we are widening the group. And if you are recommending somebody, first of all, we have 4 criteria which are very difficult to meet. We want to have smart, positive, upbeat, and enthusiastic people. I think we have only these kind of attributes here with all
Just
these
like
characters.
Brian.
And so that's why when you are recommending somebody,
pilot next time. Do you want a pilot?
I trust you 100% that Matthew must meet all these 4 criteria.
No,
Matthew, we have many
Thank you.
Let's not go into that path.
No, but Matthew, so is it, if you have also somebody in mind who you think could be eligible to join the Asia Pacific Happy Hour, because Asia Pacific, I was just looking today, I think we have now 9 people in Asia Pacific, whereas we have many more in Europe, because the colleagues driving it were all sitting in Europe, and we were doing it really to a happy hour, because now I can only have water, and a happy hour with water is a bit more boring than the real happy hour.
Boring.
And you'll be forced to be enthusiastic with just water. Eh?
Yeah.
Cheers,
So
Greener.
that's why Jung Hong, and if you also want to join forces with Paul, who is in Thailand, of course now you're drinking a Sprite, but Jung Hong, next time you can also have a good soju.
Yeah, if I come back next time, I will like physically show you how to make the bomb drink.
By the way,
I will show you.
I can demonstrate as well. So.
All right, you and I can do something like Gina. We can show them.
Very good.
Sorry, that's in our blood. So.
But by the way, you were talking about that you are good in singing and dancing. How about the virtual karaoke session?
There you go.
Daniel, if you do this way,
yeah,
I have no fear to do this, which means you also have to do this. I'm not going to do it alone.
No problem. I can sing some songs and so on. For me, it's okay. I'm here the only one in the room. Usually when I'm in the real karaoke place and I'm starting to sing, everybody is going out of the room. And then I'm again very alone. That's why you have it again in your hands. You can switch it off if I'm starting to sing, and then no song from me anymore. Because that's really something I cannot sing.
I guess there's always mute, right?
I think that's really bad excuse, but if you wanna do it, bring it on. I am not running away, but I'm not going to do it alone.
Then the next we will schedule a next Korean session. It's called Virtual Happy Hour 5.0, and then we do the karaoke. That's very good.
Well, I'm telling you, I'm not going to do it alone. So if you want to be in the session, you have to sing and dance as well.
Is there anybody in this call who doesn't want to get invited to this karaoke session? I see.
Bring it on.
No. What did you say, Jeremy?
I said I'm not a singer.
Oh, you have a really nice voice. I don't believe. You have to prove it. Sing one line, then we will believe you. So.
No, Daniel knows me. I'm very shy.
But if one sings and if one dance, we need
Sorry,
someone
are
to.
you also from IBS, Jeremy? No, right?
No, he's from Indigo Airlines.
Ah, I see. Hi.
Hey.
But he's not the pilot.
I know. I'm sorry.
But he's managing the pilot,
I believe gender equality, but I'm the only female in this section. Probably you guys want to show a little bit more respect, I would say.
Wow,
So you want them all to wear skirts next time?
Sorry?
You want them all to wear skirts and bring their cosmetic app next time?
Okay. No problem. So, how can I say? When you think about Korea, what do you think at the most? Many people probably say food or drinks, right?
I would say it's the tendency to work too much. Yeah, I think
I just explained.
what you mentioned earlier. For me, it's work, and that's and a lot of discipline. So I'm really amazed from that. Yeah, also how you manage the COVID and so on. I think big respect that this discipline, this work ethics, and of course I'm thinking about the food and also the cosmetics, of course. I put Korea every morning. I put Korea in my face. I hope you can see it.
Oh my god! Oh my god!
I was saying half the cars and electronics in India are Korean, or even more than that. Yeah.
Actually, one of my friends, she lives in India. She's Korean because her husband got transferred to India, the Hyundai car company. So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I own a Hyundai car. I'm looking into a Samsung monitor. So I think half the electronics, or more than half the electronics and cars in India are from Korea.
Can I say something which would be very controversial and you might agree with me? Can I? You might not agree with me. Can I still say it?
Go ahead. We are multicultural, so these are different perspectives.
Okay. I think from my experience of being to 15 different countries, I think average the look of woman, Koreans are the best, I would say.
I would agree, but I would pick Filipino. Sorry.
But I think like average, like in Korea. I mean, Jung-un, back me up. We do not have such ugly woman, right?
Yeah.
Wait. Can I comment on that? Because
Matthew, please comment.
but I don't know if it is true.
Bring it up.
Yeah, but I don't know if it is true. But it becomes, these surgeries and all are actually, how do you say this? Graduation gifts of parents. Is that true?
Yes and no. I also wanted to have one, but my mom said, no, you are not getting it. I wanted to have a bigger eyes, but my mom said, no, you're not getting it. So I couldn't get it. I have a very Asian eye.
What's wrong with that? Great. Beautiful. Why are you worried about
your mum?
So but I'd say maybe 40% of my friends, they got a double ID plastic surgery. But that's not the whole point, dude. Average look. Average look of Korean ladies. We know how to dress. We know how to take care of our skin.
I would agree.
I
would agree.
Yes.
And Japanese too.
Japanese too.
Japanese too, but I think Koreans smell better. Why are you laughing? I really mean it.
Why? Because of here? I don't know. What do you mean? Why do they smell better?
I don't know, somehow, because, how can I say? I'm very sensitive with smell. So I distinguish people by two things. One is smell. Second is their shoes. I think.
Lord.
Why are you laughing?
Oh Lord, I'm shoeless right now.
I am very serious. I'm
Maybe
very
it can be
serious.
explained in the way that only putting natural ingredients in the cosmetics, using these natural cosmetics, is then also creating a certain smell, whereas other people from other countries use artificial ingredients in their cosmetics, and this is then creating a strange odor.
No. I have to say this, but also you might not agree with me, but I'm going to say it anyways. I think we clean better. Why?
Okay. What is your average time to take a bath?
Really, we clean better. I mean, don't get me wrong. I have a lot of friends, and sometimes I'm amazed that they don't take a shower like as often as I am. So I think that's one of the big reason. And I still remember when I was little, my mom says like, "Okina, wash your hands, wash your feet, wash your face, brush your teeth, and so on." And so in Singapore, I live alone, and I'm very popular tenant because I'm a Korean. We are famous for taking care of the house and things like this. So you agree with me, Jong-un, right?
Come on, John, you must.
Yeah, I think I need to agree partially. Maybe I'm half Korean. I'm not that clean.
Wait, do you refer only to women or also to men?
Yeah, same. Yeah. Oh.
I think it applies men as well. But then I do not have enough data, so I cannot say it. But for ladies, I can say this. But for men, I do not have enough data, so I cannot say it.
You haven't smelled enough men. That's interesting.
But wait a minute. You work with more men than you do women, right?
Yes, but I don't live with them. So.
Ah, okay.
But now to bridge again to the other topic, how are pilots smelling? Are they smelling differently?
Like beer and smoke.
Okay, I can say this. When they check in, show up, they smell okay. When they, check out, they smell bad. And it also depends on how many legs you flew and if you went on layover or not. So it all depends on your flight schedule, I would say.
Okay. So you have enough data.
Yeah, of course, from the pilots have enough data.
Lord. Matthew, do you agree?
Well, we're in the Philippines. I don't. I can't comment on that.
Why?
I don't smell them.
Yeah.
I mean,
I find the Filipinos quite clean. You know what I mean? I have not smelled a lot of body odor.
sorry. When I say I smell, I don't smell like, when someone comes to me, naturally when you breathe, you can smell it, right? No?
Yeah.
You have a very good nose.
I am a little bit confused now. I think.
Why?
So generally, you guys cannot smell?
Well, we do. Of course we do. But at the end of the day, I don't know about you, but in Asia, we have to take 2 or 3 showers a day, right?
Yeah, of course.
Right? To survive. Yeah. It's hot. No?
Okay.
It's the way I am. I don't know about everybody else, but I never noticed that in the Philippines. Or in Korea.
But Philippines, apropos Philippines, Matthew, would you be willing to make a country presentation about Philippines?
Yeah, of course. But not next week.
No. We have already we can earliest do it in July. We have plenty of
Okay.
sessions already scheduled. Yeah, we have
All right,
very
all right.
sophisticated planning. So I'm going to
Okay.
send you some slides as a sample, and then you know exactly what is the storyline.
Sure.
Very easy.
All right.
Great.
We'll do that.
Great. Have you on board.
Hi, Binish. Are you from IPS?
Yeah, yes, Fiona. I'm also from IPS. Daniel's colleague.
Daniel's colleague.
That's the typo.
So Jeremy, I'm missing Aditi and Jason, because Aditi was last time also helping Veena to be also a female attendee. So hopefully next time they can join again.
Yeah, so Aditi said that we're looking at starting flying on Monday, so we're doing a lot of planning for returning to the sky. So she's tied up with the CEO in a meeting.
Nice.
Yeah.
Please
So
tell
Monday
her sir.
you are starting to fly domestically again, huh? That's good news.
Yeah, very small. But yeah, it's a start. Get the planes back in the sky.
Yeah, slowly but surely.
I think right now in Korea, like a domestic network, maybe 80% are recovered, but I think international it's like less than 10%.
Wow. That's
Is
good.
Korea allowing you to travel internationally?
You know that Korea, we never closed the border, right? So
No, I don't. I didn't know that. I didn't know that.
yeah, we never closed the border. That was one of the big things Korean, you know, we were furious, but we never closed borders.
Well, we're closed here. We haven't had a case in 3 days. We've only had 56 deaths, but the country is still shut down until the end of June. So
End of June.
end of June. It's
Yeah,
ridiculous.
it's extended today.
Ridiculous.
Paul, I think you're able to come back soon. You know that like you know, our circuit breaker will supposed to be over, and then there will be phase 1 and phase 2. Phase 1 pretty much the same, but
Yeah, I've got my agent in Singapore. She's going to apply to the MOM next week to see when I can come back. But I think I've got a feeling they'll do it in 2 phases. They'll do a first phase where they allow employment pass holders back, but you'll have to go into quarantine, and they're quarantining people at the Pan Pacific Hotel. And look, I'm at home here in Thailand. I'm not going to go into a hotel. So I will wait until they get to the second phase where I can quarantine at home, and then I go.
see. Yeah. Makes sense.
Yeah.
Same with me, Paul. You know, I want to get back because that's where I work, but nothing I can do.
Yeah.
Stuck. What about you, Matthew? What about the Philippines, right? Another month?
Yeah. Hopefully by June we'll start opening. But we're doing sweeper flights, more cargo. So a lot of cargo.
Yeah.
But basically domestic passengers now. Only if there's a request, for example, Canadians want to repatriate their citizens from the Philippines, so we do that. Or Americans or whatever nationality.
Matthew, you have a very good cargo system.
Domestic yet?
That's important, huh?
No.
Sorry again?
Matthew, I hope you have a very good
scheduled
cargo
domestic?
system to support all this.
Sorry, I didn't get that right, Daniel.
I hope you have a very good cargo system in order to.
Oh yeah.
Very good.
Yeah. Yeah.
If you don't have one, just let me know. We have a solution for everything.
But Daniel, I thought it's supposed to be like a.
Yeah, you're not supposed to sell here, Daniel.
I thought that
Are
Daniel
you guys now hedging with the low? Sorry.
Sorry, Matthew, go ahead.
Are you guys now hedging with fuel on fuel? Well, fuel is low now, right? But do you guys hedge or?
I think that would be a question for the Indigo guy, right? Jeremy, right?
Yeah. No, I think that a lot of hedging in the past is going to be really hurting people right now.
Yes,
with,
really.
You know, having paid really high prices and now the fuel price is low. I don't know how much fuel we have hedged, but based on the fact that everybody is saying it's a good thing that fuel prices are so low, I'm assuming that it's almost zero.
Yeah.
But yeah, it brings up an interesting point whether you start hedging now, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you do the Southwest back in the 80s, out in 90s, but I'm not sure, man. Hedging's always scared me.
Well, I think that demand is going to be so low for some time that I think just pure supply and demand is just going to keep the prices down. I don't even think you have to hedge right now, because there's only going to be such a percentage of flights and even industry and automotive and stuff. So I just don't see the demand for quite some time.
Right.
Yeah, I would
So
agree.
do you see the going back to the pre-COVID operational capacity 100%? Do you see it in the next year or in the next 2 years or a couple of months? Do you have any assessment or inkling?
We're talking 12 months.
12 months.
Mm.
Okay.
I mean, I think in India there'll be quite a lot of collapse. So I guess the market share will change. I think the demand will be down, but maybe there'll be some reduced number of players. So we're talking 12 months. I think the domestic will pick up, maybe after 6 months, but international is going to be some time. And really nobody knows. It depends on the different regulations from the countries and the governments. There's no point putting a flight onto somewhere if you're going there on holiday and you've got to be in quarantine for a period of time. It doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
And we were talking the other day that a lot of these airlines that have been based on maybe one stop to somewhere, I don't think that's going to work, because you get your one stop and then potentially you get pulled aside because somebody on the flight's over temperature, or I think there's going to really be a change to everybody wanting to go direct.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, some insights we studied in Korea, like recently I'm going around like Korean or the big LCCs, and we discussed about the same question, Matthew, you just raised. And what they think is, even though this COVID gets controlled and countries start to open the borders, just like visa, if the passenger doesn't show that he's clean, that's some kind of travel document that you show that you're healthy, then it will be pretty much difficult on the borders how to get in and out. So considering that there must be the pattern will change sometime if we don't have a clear vaccine. And even though you have a vaccine, this is so contagious, you still need to have, I think there will be more process and procedures during the a border going in and out. So maybe we might need to think what will be changing as the new norm, like the white paper that Daniel is keep producing, in a passenger perspective, in a travel, and about that recovery period. Not sure for other airlines, like in Korea, they're getting a lot of funding, not like funding, but it's like a loan, very low interest loan from the industrial banks in Korea. But now they're getting like the flood from the banks. But anyways, even though the demand comes back up, in order the airlines to earn and pay that off, it will take, I think all the airlines think more than 30 to 36 months from now on. So I think it will be very tough for all the airlines for the next 2 to 3 years.
I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think everybody was hoping that these quick tests before flight, like Emirates was doing, was going to be the panacea and allow everybody to fly, but they've stopped doing them because they're not effective.
Yeah. And maybe people who are from the airlines, maybe this could be a question. What if another COVID comes next year? Would you think you can survive?
No, man, no.
So it's actually pretty much scary.
Yeah. At least good for the other airlines, there's assistance from the government, but in some developing countries like ours, You're on your own.
Mm.
How
Yeah, I
about
mean,
the leases? Yeah.
one
Go
of
ahead,
the
sorry.
issues is that what happens if it, reverts? Sometimes these things go in waves, and there's a second wave, in a pandemic and stuff. So that's a major worry for everybody. That we could go down to the second lockdown because as things open up, it starts spreading again.
I think that we were talking about Korea, and I think there was exactly recently the situation that I think one person went into several bars and suddenly 7,200 people were again at risk. And I think then there was a more stricter lockdown now in Korea when I'm following the news. I don't know whether this is true, Jung-Hong. But there was kind of a threat of a second wave, isn't it?
I think that threat is still there because these guys or these people, these groups doesn't come out and try to test themselves and prove that they're okay. And we don't know how this connects. Like it's a like a 20s, right? This young guys went there and came back and spread to their parents, their kids. These parents go to another place and keep spreading, and it is quite hard to track. But I think the direction, I think all the people now is accepting like a flu. We cannot win it, then you have to live with it, right? So it is about how much you like protect yourself, and I think you just need to work, like live with it. I think that's the only. You cannot sit at home every day and.
But I think the other thing is that if we look at China, which is somewhat reopened, if we look at South Korea, that's somewhat reopened. If we look at some of the European countries, Italy and Spain, they've reopened. Germany's opening up a bit more, and we haven't seen anywhere any real second wave. We've seen a few increases in cases. That's going to happen, but we haven't seen a second wave yet anywhere in the world.
Is anybody from you knowing somebody in person who got infected?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, one of our pilots. Sorry, not in this first line, but in our airline, of course, there are some pilots who were infected, and one actually died.
I've got two friends in the UK who got it. One was asymptomatic, and he just felt like he had a mild cold, and the other one was ill, but he didn't need to go to hospital, just into isolation.
Oh, I see. So he got recovered.
Both of them, well, yeah, one didn't even really have any symptoms. He was asymptomatic, so he just carried it, and when after he was traced as to one of the contacts of the other guys, and so when he was tested, it turned out he'd already had it.
So that's another theory, without vaccine, everyone gets it. And then we are we are immune.
Right.
So then, we can, go back to work and then, do travel again.
But if you look at what's happening in Singapore, one of the things that they found in these dormitories where all of the Bangladeshis and the foreign workers are based is that they're all relatively young people. They're all quite healthy and fit. They all eat quite well. And something like 20% of them were asymptomatic, which is very interesting that it's spread around, but they're not showing any symptoms at all. And we'll get
very common, because even in India they say close to 80% of the cases are asymptomatic. There were on TV last day, there was an RJ, a radio jockey who got it, and he was describing his experience on TV. So he was saying that he had very mild symptoms. So they took him to a hospital. It was a big ward. So he was said that he was with 40 other patients, and none of them had any symptoms. So they were just sitting and waiting for the test to become negative, which I think is the more dangerous part, because a lot of people like this might be carrying this around, right? because not because they deliberately are doing this, but because they don't know that they're carrying this at all.
So I'm going to stop the recording now. Veena, thank you very much. That was one of the most intensive and best virtual happy hours ever. I'm really flashed, and I look very much forward to the karaoke session we are doing.
Yeah, but please don't show my voice. The things I talked about, maybe in my future, it shouldn't be revealed. I still need to get married one day, so okay.
Okay.
I think that's a fantastic closing remark. Now I'm stopping the recording, and so maybe